Hello everybody and welcome to the Thursday edition of Video Clips, and just a couple of quick announcements. Tonight, February 28th, is the next opportunity to participate in Introduction to Plant-Based Nutrition. It's a great power-packed session that will teach you how to start this diet, why to eat the things that we tell you to eat, and give you some basic skills for getting started. And if you miss it tonight, there will be another one next week, March 7th. And then next week, March 5th, Lonnie Muehlrath has a new book out. She is one of the trainers that works with the very famous John McDougall program out in California. And she's going to talk about how to shape your body using 5-minute exercise spurts and some very specific things you can do to tone your body and make it look better. So all of us who are trying to look fabulous before summer, this is a good conference call to be on. All right, I have two articles I want to cover today. And one has to do with the topic of isoflavones, which are found in many, many different products, including soy foods. They're very concentrated on soy foods, but also red clover, garlic, evening primrose, etc. And the reason why I want to talk about this, in a perfect world, we would stop having this discussion of isoflavones in soy and breast cancer. We would just acknowledge that the scientific research just doesn't support the idea that this is a problem. But nonetheless, I don't think a day goes by that I don't answer an email or have some contact with somebody who is really concerned about this soy and breast cancer, isoflavones and breast cancer issue. And many of these people have been told by their doctors not to eat soy, don't feed it to your kids, etc. So I'm not going to regurgitate the whole argument here. There are over 100 articles, and almost all of them referenced in the Health Briefs online library on this topic. I'll let you go there if you want to really read some detailed information. But I'll just tell you about this new study. I think it's interesting. Researchers from the University of Toronto analyzed data from over 3,000 women with breast cancer and over 3,400 women who didn't have breast cancer, and they looked at their use of isoflavone supplements. Now, I'm not getting to the idea, I don't want you to think I think that isoflavone supplements are a good idea, so just hang with me for a second here. There were a variety of types of supplements, and the isoflavone content varied. Also, the source varied. It came from soy, red clover, garlic, evening primrose. Women who took high isoflavone dose supplements consistently had a 28% reduction in risk of breast cancer, and it just decreased even more with long-term use to 43%. Women taking low doses really didn't experience any decrease in risk. This was measured in, the measurement was in postmenopausal women. Now, to be clear, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not recommending isoflavone supplements to women or any other group. I'm also not promoting the consumption of soy. The Wellness Forum's diet is not a soy promotion diet. You don't need to have a certain number of servings of soy in your diet. And I'm also clearly against the soy junk foods like the candy bars and the hot dogs and meat substitutes and some of that garbage that's out there. But it's very simple and clear what I have to say about this. If you like soy foods, go on ahead and eat them. If you don't go out of your way to include them in your diet. Soy foods don't have magical properties, by the way. If you're eating a bad diet, including them in your diet is not going to help. But on the other hand, I think that soy foods have been attributed with health-destroying powers just ridiculous. I mean, the research doesn't really support this idea, and I guess I'll just keep talking about it until we reach that wonderful place where it becomes a non-issue. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is an issue that comes up all the time, and it is that with some degree of regularity, I seem to be involved in conversations with my healthcare colleagues about how we can get people who aren't sick to pay attention to our message. I mean, we've always had great success with sick people. They want to live, they don't want to feel bad, they don't want to take drugs, and they'll do what they're told many times, most of the time I would say. But the people who aren't sick are hard to convince. They seem to think that they're just going to somehow be exempt from all of the disaster that we know accompanies eating the standard American diet and practicing unhealthy lifestyle habits. And I always reply that sooner or later something bad's going to happen if you do this. I mean, just look around at your family and friends, the people you know. You don't even have to go read medical journals. Just look at the people you know, and you'll see where you're going to end up if you keep engaging in these activities. It's not if something's going to happen, it's when and what it's going to be. Now, a new study confirms that the population as a whole is getting sicker, not better. And I'll get to what this has to do with the topic in a second here. But according to this study, baby boomers, defined as those born between 1946 and 1964, are exercising less, They're more likely to be overweight, and more of them have higher rates of hypertension and high cholesterol than their parents. They're getting sicker earlier in life, their ability to do work is compromised, and they're more likely to need canes and walkers just to get around. Now, this refutes the mythology of the healthcare industry that people are healthier because of all these tests that we perform and interventions. People aren't healthier, and by the way, they're not even living longer. Statistically, it looks that way because we've had such huge reductions in the last 100 and some years in infant mortality. So people aren't living longer, they're just living more with sickness and disability. This data came from the National Health and Nutrition Examinations Survey, and according to this, almost 40% of the boomers are obese as compared to 29% in the previous generation. And get this, 52% reported no physical activity versus only 17% of their parents. The good news is fewer baby boomers smoke, but more of them have high blood pressure and cholesterol and are taking medications for it. The statistics are sad, but the response is sadder. I went online and I started reading what some of the medical health sites had to say, and editorial articles, and representatives from groups like the AARP, and they all just think that this is terribly mysterious and we need to have some studies conducted to determine what's causing all of this and what to do about it. Are you kidding me? The source of the problem is the food. It is the food. I don't know what we have to do to get this point across. People are eating their way into sickness and disability between 3 and 6 times a day. If we change the food, we change the health outcomes. And if this message were to somehow be consistent, I think some of the healthy people attending my lectures and writing to me would start to get the message if they heard it from enough different sources that it's the food that we have to fix. So you can see sometimes I get to the place where I'm almost ready to lose my patience over it, but we have to stay focused on reaching people and know that every day we are gaining a little bit of ground. But the bottom line is that my generation, I'm a baby boomer, we are not doing better than our parents from a health perspective. Good news is it's all fixable. It's fixable quickly. In a matter of weeks, you can turn your health around with a low-fat, plant-based diet. Well, that's all for now. It's all for this week. So pass this on to anybody who you think might be interested, and I'll be back to you again next Tuesday.